Wait, don't blink. Glow Uploading. Hey lovies, it's Rolina from Rolina Makeup. Today we are creating a flawless soft glam that lasts. Stay till the end, you will be obsessed. So first things first, you need to give your eyebrow shape before drawing it. So in that case, you need to trim it using a razor blade and a spoolie. And then you need to trim the client's face, like the whole face. You need to trim the excess hair that is there. It is optional because some clients don't like trimming their faces, but it is really, really necessary that you trim it because it gives a smooth surface for foundation application. So if you see from her video before and then at this point, you can notice the difference. The next thing, we need to moisturize her lips to avoid cracking. So from there, we need to clean her face properly using a wipe because it is always moisturized. Then boom, we go into the details of the tutorial today. So first things first, I always draw the eyebrow first before any other thing. And I always use the brow gel. Some use pencils, and if you're a beginner, it's always wise to use a pencil. If you're to use a pencil, it has to be sharpened, like it has to be sharp. But if you're using the brow gel, you need a brush that is flat, like flat, so that it gives out that shape you're seeing right there. So when you're drawing an eyebrow, you start from the middle. You start from the middle of the eyelid to the end of the eyelid. So you give it shape down and then up, and then you go on combing out, outward. So when it comes to makeup, the eyebrows are very crucial and they need to be given time, like enough time, because they have to be balanced. So you repeat the same process from the other eyebrow to the next eyebrow, as you can see. After that, shaping out the eyebrows, then we are going to conceal. Well, I use the LA Girl. There are many concealers. There are many types of concealers that can be used, but I use the LA Girl. So while concealing, we also start from the middle line of the eyelid as we spread it outwards slowly. So you start from the middle as you spread it outwards, as you can see in the video. You do it slowly but steady. But the concealer has to be slightly lighter than the normal shade of the skin. So if the person is chocolate like my client in the video, you choose a lighter shade than her skin, as you can see. And also when you're drawing that line, you need to be firm. You don't need to shake. It will give you bad results and you make the eyebrow out of shape. So you need to go at once. You need to draw it firmly at once. And then you brush out the excess towards the eyelid because you're going to do the eyeshadow later on. Then from the beginning of the nose going upwards, you use the shade of her foundation. Use the shade of her foundation, as you can see. Then you apply it all around the eyelid. You blend it in using a fluffy brush. You blend it in until it is absorbed in the skin. Then you do the same process you did on the other side to this side. You repeat the exact same thing, but then you need to balance the eyebrows because they have to be balanced. After that, you also blend it in until it is absorbed in the skin. Then you need a setting powder to set the foundation or the concealer. Some use the foundation, some use concealer. So you apply it on the concealer that you applied on the eyelid to avoid cracking because the foundation cracks. If you've used the foundation, it will always crack. You find the eyeshadow cracking or cracky and all that. So to avoid that, you need to apply the powder before any other thing. So we go in for the eyeshadow. So for the eyeshadow, depends on what you want to do, like the look you want to create. It's up to you. But for me, I chose the dark brown, and I'm going to start from the beginning of the eyelid to the corner of the eye. So you start from the end of the eyelid towards the corner. So you put the excess, then you brush it out towards the corner, as you can see in the video. So after that, you need to repeat the same process you did on the other side to the other side. If you're still watching my video, thank you so much. For those that have subscribed, for those that have watched, hopefully that you have learned something, you're learning something. And if you need anything that you want to learn, you can comment in the comment section. So after blending everything in the skin, we need to cut the crease. And in cutting the crease, we can either use the base shadow, we can use the concealer, or the foundation. So in this case, I chose to use the concealer. As you can see, I started from the middle of the crease to the corner. So you have to blend that in. You have to blend it very well in. You tap, 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 tap. You don't drag, but you just tap. You start from the middle as you go on tapping in the middle to the corner of the eye. So you do that repeatedly until everything is blended in the skin. So after all that, you get your powder palette. Then you place the powder on the surface where you've put the concealer. You put the powder so that it is set before applying the other foundation that you want to use. So when you're applying the shimmer, that glittering foundation, for me, I always use my hands because it's the best way I can apply it. Though others you can use a smaller brush and then you tap it in. You don't drag, but you tap it in. So after that, you need a liner. You need an upper liner. So while applying the liner, you can start from anywhere. You can start from the beginning of the eye crease to the middle, to the corner, or you can start from the corner to the end of the eyelid, depending on how you wish to do it. But for me, I can either start from the end of the eyelid or the corner of the eyelid, depending on how I'm comfortable. So after that, you can see the change. It always makes that change. You can see how the eye is popping already. So with the upper liner and the downer liner, they always make that difference. That even if a person has the smallest eyes, the moment you put the downer liner and the upper liner, it will always show. So it always makes that difference. That is beautiful. So after all that, you need to prep the skin. You need a good moisturizer. You need a primer, a very good primer. They always make a difference when you apply the foundation so that it doesn't make that cracking. It doesn't crack. It settles very well on the skin. So you need a good moisturizer and a good primer. So after that, I had to add some lighter glitters to make the eye popping, like it should pop, because I wanted it to be popping. Yeah. For those that have stayed till this far, I'm really grateful. Hope I'm making a change. Please kindly subscribe to my YouTube channel. I'll be grateful. Thank you. It's your girl Rolina. So after all that, the popping and so on, I had to put the primer. After the primer, I apply the foundation. Then after the foundation, I had to highlight. Like to enhance on the color. So with highlighting, we need a lighter shade than the foundation. If the person is using a darker shade for the foundation, we need a lighter concealer to highlight the face. And when you're highlighting, we highlight under the eye, on the forehead and the chin. So after that, we go in for the lashes. So for the lashes, I used the single ones, and I had to measure the eye before applying them. So I applied them gently because you need to be gentle. It's someone's eye. They don't need to be damaged. So I applied it very well, as you can see, using the bond. So after that, you need to set the face. So you need a powder to set the face. You need a powder you can either use a lighter shade. There's somewhere I use a dark shade. I'll show you that in the next video, how to apply the powder. So after all that, you can see the difference already. I know it's already giving. I know that. After setting the whole face, then we go in for the lips. So for the lips, I chose the nude. So the nude and the gloss. So before applying the nude color, you need to line the lips. So in this case, I used the gel brown in color to line up the lips. As you can see, we line up the lips very well before applying the nude color in the middle. You make sure that the lips are lined very well and blended. You blend it in. You don't make just one line like this and then you leave it at that. You have to blend it in so that it gives that color that you are looking for. So after that, you apply the nude color that you're using. It can either be some other color, it can be pink, but this is what we chose for her. That's what she wanted. Yeah, you blend it in. Like it has to be blended very well. You keep on adding until you achieve the look that you're looking for. So I kept on adding until when I achieved the look I was looking for. You can see. Yeah. So after blending everything in very well, you add the gloss. So she doesn't have to dab the gloss. You just apply the gloss onto her lips, the downer lip and then the upper lip. As you can see, after that, you need to line the lips, like to give them a good shape using the foundation of her skin. So you blend it very well. Using like a smaller brush. It has to be fluffy, of course, but a smaller one in color. So after that, you need to highlight the face. With highlighting, you can either use the highlighters or the gilters in the foundation. Then after that, what is makeup without a setting spray? You need to set the foundation and everything in, like the whole look. And I love this setting spray because it gives that glittering. You can